The following is a CUNY TV special presentation.
Last week, Wednesday, was the first day of school for New York City's 1.1 million school children, 1.1 million students. To realize how massive that is, it's the equivalent to the entire population of Dallas, as big as the populations of Denver and Seattle combined. Last week, Wednesday, also marked the first day of school for our new chancellor, as head of the largest school system in our country. It is our honor to welcome him here today, Chancellor Richard Carranza. Thank you for being here, because we all have something very dear in common, a stake in the quality of New York City's public schools. And that brings us to our guest today. He is the product of the Arizona public school system. And while he did grow up out west, he is quintessential New York. He is a second-generation immigrant, son to a sheet metal worker and a hairdresser who taught him the importance of school. His 30-year career in education, which started as a high school bilingual social studies and music teacher, is filled with meaningful accomplishments. In San Francisco, his efforts raised graduation rates by 7%, and narrowed the achievement gap between African American and Hispanic students and their white and Asian peers. As superintendent of the Houston Independent School District, he led the charge to reopen the schools just 2 weeks after the devastation of Hurricane Harvey. And he secured 2 free meals a day for all its students through the entire school year, giving those families one less concern as they work to rebuild their lives. He is not shy also when it comes to advocating for children. In 2015, he spoke to then President Barack Obama in Spanish, a language the former president does not speak, to show him how it felt for a student to be in a school where he or she could not understand their teacher, to illustrate how important it is to teach English as a second language to children who don't yet speak it. He is both charming and bold, invaluable assets in our town. And we all need him to succeed, because it is literally impossible for our city to be a great city if we cannot give our children a great education. Chancellor, you're off to an impressive start, and we here at ABNY are pulling for you. You and your team have been entrusted with something of immeasurable value, the future of our children, and therein truly the future of our city. Ladies and gentlemen, Chancellor Richard Carranza.
So good morning. Buenos dias. I know you're all probably thinking, I thought he'd be taller. But you know, times are tough. The budgets are shrinking, and so is your chancellor. All kidding aside, I want to say thank you to Steve. Thank you for that introduction. I want to thank ABNY for all that you do for New York City. And I also want to thank all of you for being here this morning. This is a room full of very busy people. So I want to thank you, all of our elected officials, our business and labor leaders, our advocates, our community leaders, and everyone who shares a passion for education. And I want to be very, very clear that the public education system of New York City, it's never a question of whether we should be involved and interested. It's really a question of, can we afford not to be involved and interested? Because as we speak, 1.1 million future New Yorkers, future taxpayers, future professionals, future titans of industry are sitting in our classrooms across the 5 boroughs. And our hopes, our dreams, and our efforts are that they will receive the best education possible so that they can launch into the next phase of their careers. I also want to take this moment to thank Mayor Bill de Blasio, who brought me to this vibrant, inspirational, aspirational city. New York City, to lead the largest school system in America. So I'm deeply honored to be here. Who would have thunk it, as Steve spoke about who my parents were, blue-collar workers, sheet metal worker, beautician, who they themselves never ever dreamed of going to college, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but who knew that their two children had to go to college for a better tomorrow. So when did I ever think that I would be in New York City, especially in a room like this, talking to all of you? Now, my friends, we're here today because we know that the future economic viability of our city is sitting in our classrooms. Today's students trust that they are gaining the skills they need to become citizens and leaders of tomorrow. To honor that trust, we must create a school system that is equitable and excellent, and that enables all students to achieve their potential. To do that, we have to rewrite history. The story that we rewrite today, the story that we will rewrite together, is one that doesn't accept the status quo. The story that we write and rewrite with our students is a future that is not bound by history, it's not bound by zip code or demographics. It's a story of lifting all of our students and all of our schools. It's about achieving equity and excellence for all. Now, let me tell you why this is important to me. This is very personal for me. And while people address me as Chancellor, and in some cases by other terms that I can't share in mixed company, this is the crux and the heart and the soul of what we are in America. The notion that anyone, from wherever you come from, can, as a cornerstone of our democracy, receive a great education that allows you to do things in your life that perhaps your background, perhaps where you live, perhaps where you've been, would not indicate that those opportunities are for you. So like many of you in this room, I am a product of the public education system. My grandparents came to the United States from Mexico and settled in Tucson, Arizona. My parents were hardworking Americans. As you know, my dad was a journeyman sheet metal worker, my mom a hairdresser. They were humble people, but proud of their heritage. And my twin brother Ruben and I, and yes, I have an identical twin brother, so if you say hi to somebody that looks like me, he doesn't say hi back, it's probably Ruben. But you see, Ruben and I grew up speaking Spanish. And like some of you in this room, we learned English in public schools. You see, my parents were both bilingual, fluently bilingual, but they made the conscious choice that they would teach us Spanish and trust that the public schools would teach their children English so that we would be bilingual. Now, my parents never attended college, but these non-college educated adults knew that for their boys, the path forward was an education. Not education for the sake of being educated, but education because they knew it would give us opportunity, the passport to the world. And I remember one of these experiences that captures my parents' dreams for their children. You see, my brother and I graduated from high school and we matriculated to the local land-grant university, the University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona. And my father, having never graduated from high school, he later earned his GED, but he hadn't graduated from high school. His brothers were all fighting in the Korean War, so he dropped out of middle school, helped to support his sisters and his mom. So here we are at the University of Arizona. It's Parents' Weekend. My brother and I are freshmen at the university, and we were proud that my parents had agreed to come with us for Parents' Weekend. And as my brother and I walked our parents through the campus, I was surprised when my father said, "That's a social sciences building. That's Harville building. That's the new administration building." And I looked at my brother looked at me, and we said, "Dad, how in the world do you know what all these buildings are? You never went to the university." And he replied to me, "Mijo," which is a diminutive for my son. "Mijo, you see, I worked installing sheet metal in that building right there. And I was part of the construction crew that built that building right over there." And then with tears in his eyes, he said to me, "But never ever did I think that I would walk this campus as the father of two sons that are students at the university, and that I wouldn't be wearing my tool belt." Seminal moment for him. You see, my friends, that's the American dream. And that American dream is not unlike the dream that millions of our parents in New York City have for their children. I know that across New York City, thousands of parents have the same dream that Simon and Dolores Carranza had for their two boys, a better future. So I have devoted myself to public education because a strong public education is the greatest gift I have ever received. My public education is the reason I chose to start my teaching career nearly 30 years ago at Pueblo High School in Tucson, the same high school that put me on a path to college and the kind of success that my parents, I wish they were alive, would have ever imagined for their boys. A strong public education is the reason a child who didn't speak English until he entered kindergarten could rise to become this incredible city's chancellor. I know, just as Mayor de Blasio knows, just as educators in San Francisco, in Las Vegas, in Tucson, in Houston, the cities that I've lived and worked in, know that public education is an investment in our nation's future. A public education changes lives, but I'm preaching to the choir. You know that. So how do we deliver on this promise of public education for all of our students? You see, that's a tall order from a very short chancellor. Naturally, when I first arrived in New York, I sought answers from people who knew our school system the best: our students, our parents, our educators, staff members and elected officials, business leaders, community partners, advocates, all throughout the city. During my first few months on the job, I spoke to thousands of people and really got under the hood of this large and complex system in all 5 boroughs. Now, I'm not sure we always recognize how big New York City is. So I know Steve shared some statistics. Let me give you some other statistics. If Staten Island was its own independent school district, it would be larger than the Boston Public Schools. It would be the 13th largest school system in America. If Brooklyn was its own independent school district, it would be the 6th largest school system in America. And Queens would be the 7th largest in America. And those are just 3 of our boroughs, all within one system. This is a massive system. So as I went to every borough and engaged with students and parents and everyone else I've mentioned, I heard about our strengths and I heard about our challenges. As I listened and I learned, I realized that while we didn't have all the solutions, we were all really part of the solution. I felt optimistic because I realized that New Yorkers always dream big and they always do big things. And the one thing I've learned very quickly is that New Yorkers like it straight. Don't put on the white gloves and give us a story, just give it to us straight. I think I've kind of learned that. New Yorkers, because they dream big, know that education is a cornerstone of our democracy. The last 4 years under this administration have given us a strong foundation on which to build. Graduation rates are at historic highs. Dropout rates are at historic lows. Our students are performing stronger than ever in English language arts and math. And we are on track to meet our goals of 80% graduation rate and 2/3 of our students college ready by 2026. At the same time that we know that opportunity gaps exist in our system, we must accelerate our work to reverse historic inequities, empower communities, and intervene throughout a child's journey through our system to keep them on a path to graduation, college, and meaningful employee. And yes, not every student wants or needs to go to college. So recognizing the full scope of students' interests is important to us. We have to deepen our equity and excellence agenda for all, make it even stronger, I would say systemic. I believe that the way a leader takes on big challenges is by visualizing and articulating a goal, and by taking actions to get there. With a clear goal of achieving equity and excellence for all our students and their families, I've laid out 4 priorities for this coming year. General, broad, but 4 priorities. For me, the first priority we have as a school system is to accelerate learning and instruction. It is a cornerstone of every educational system. This is our bread and butter, rigorous classroom instruction. Now, how do I, as a chancellor, affect instruction in the classroom? How do we provide a clear, coherent, high-quality instructional approach to all of our schools? We started this work this summer by rolling out a new leadership and support structure. The focus had to be on bridging the divide between the Central Department of Education and our schools, who are our customers. It had to be on making my staff and the entire staff of the Department of Education work better for our children, our schools, and our communities. Now, this new structure creates clear lines of accountability from each classroom directly to me, from the classroom to the chancellor. It brings resources closer to schools where that needs to be. It aligns supports and supervision so that support that the schools receive is aligned to what's expected of them. And so schools don't get conflicting directions from different offices. We want to make sure that the accountability is very clear with our executive superintendents in the field. Now, our realignment also solved a problem in our academic offices. You see, prior to my arrival in April, we had great, hardworking people focused on issues relating to English language learners. Great, hardworking people working very hard on special education. Incredibly hardworking people supporting English and social studies and science education in our teaching and learning division. But rarely did those three departments or divisions have an opportunity to work with each other. Great work in silos. Now, it matters because when students show up at our schools, they don't show up in silos. They are the whole child. So as you're addressing the needs of students with disabilities or the needs of students that are learning English, and that you're building capacity for our teachers for great instruction, it must be a synergistic, intertwined endeavor. They aren't simply English language learners or special education students. They are a whole, and our system must be a whole to support them. So we've created the Office of the new Chief Academic Officer, which will unify and streamline the instructional supports to our schools. And we will provide robust professional development and curricular resources for our 79,000 teachers in the New York City Department of Education. We will ensure that every student knows how to write well, how to think like a scientist, understand history, and even computer science. A New York City public school diploma must mean that our graduates are critical thinkers, are articulate and passionate on issues they care about, and can work in teams to collaborate and achieve big things. You see, that is our North Star. That is what the graduates should be of the New York City public schools. Now, there are some voices in our community that will say that not all children are capable of achieving at high levels. And I'd like to tell you something that I tweeted during my first few months here in New York, because it proves that that's not true. You see, it was a tweet with a quote from a 6-year-old student that said simply this: "My teacher thought I was smarter than I was, so I was." It's about expectations. And let me repeat that: so I was. So do we believe that every student in New York City, regardless of race, class, income, background, can achieve the North Star vision of what they should be as a graduate? I say yes. And I tell you that if I didn't believe that, because of the city of New York and the diversity and the passionate residents of New York City, I would have never come. But I'm glad to be part of this movement to ensure that we always will be able to say, because we believe we were smarter than they were, they were. Let's expect, that's a powerful reminder that our students will deliver what we expect of them. So we must take this system of high expectations to all of our students. Now, our second priority is to partner with communities. And although I've never been the personal recipient or participant of a 12-step program, I understand that the first step of a 12-step program is to admit you have an issue. We have a trust issue with our community. We won't achieve equity and excellence until we really empower parents and communities. You see, I'm not interested in engaging communities. I'm interested in empowering communities. And the difference between engagement and empowerment is that it's very simple and it's a very low bar to engage a community. Make a policy recommendation that a community doesn't like. I guarantee you they'll be engaged. But you see, my friends, to truly empower a community means that you give them the knowledge, the voice, and the place to have conversations, to be able to advocate for their children, And as we advocate and engage in conversations all day long as a policymaker, I get lots of feedback. But rarely do I get feedback from communities where perhaps the challenges are the greatest. And the parent who is a recent immigrant to our country, or the parent that's working 2 jobs and understands that the way to advocate for their student is to show up at school, I challenge that. That's not the way to advocate for your child, but if that parent knows what their child should know at the end of the 1st grade, that prepares them for the 2nd grade. If that parent knows why the Regents exams are so important, if that parent understands that a college-going culture means that you have to understand how to access resources to go to college, if that person knows who to call and how to advocate and who to write to, now you see we're empowering parents. And we are giving those parents the privilege that many parents in our city have. And privilege isn't a bad thing, as long as we share it. That's what we're talking about in terms of empowering our communities. And if it's not clear enough, do parents know how to access all of the information streams to make good decisions for their children? I think we have some good work done, but we have lots of work to do. Knowledge is power, and we will be focusing on that with our parents. Let me share an example of how we're empowering parents. Last month, I attended our first ever Spanish language specialized high school information fair in the Bronx. Now, it's maybe a surprise to you, and this may be breaking news, but I'm not a big fan of the specialized high school admissions process currently, based on a single test. But no matter how the system operates, we need to make sure that all of our families are empowered with the information to navigate it. The current status quo is that they have to take a test. So do our families know about that? Do they know when to start preparing for that? So here's what we did. We identified top performing middle school students whose home language was Spanish. We called their homes. We invited them and their parents, and in most cases their aunts and uncles and neighbors and tíos and tías. And we invited them to an information session. At the information session, we talked to them about what the specialized high schools are and how to prepare for and take the specialized high school admissions test. The session was conducted entirely in Spanish. We had materials in English, of course, but it was conducted entirely in Spanish. And what I heard from our parents, from many of our Spanish-speaking parents who said, I've never, ever had this kind of an experience. I've never had this kind of information shared with me. I've never felt like I really understand what I can do to help my children. You see, that's empowering families. Not because they're coming to us, but we're coming to them. Community empowerment was also a focus of our restructure this summer, because during my listening tour, families repeatedly asked me questions like, who do I go to for a problem in my child's school? Or how do I get my child's test scores? By the way, they're still embargoed till the end of September. I wish I could tell you. So we're helping parents and families navigate our complex system. And if you're not getting the answers you need now, there's a geographically based executive superintendent for you to go to. It's that simple. The buck in the field stops there. We will provide an infrastructure and systems for our parents to be empowered, active, particularly in historically underserved communities. Now, our third priority. I only have 17 priorities, okay? I'm just kidding, just 2 more. We have 145,000 employees who are our most important asset. We will build every individual and every team across the system to reach its fullest potential. That is why our third priority is to develop our people. If we expect our students to achieve excellence, then we must support our educators and leaders and all of our staff members to that end. It's just that simple. Our fourth priority this year, if we are to accomplish anything or everything that I've laid out so far, we must have a fourth priority, and that priority is to advance equity. Not in the future, not maybe, advance equity now. Now, I'm proud to be the chancellor of the New York City Public Schools, but let me tell you, as a chancellor, I learned a very important lesson as a classroom teacher. And that lesson was, if you were not honest, If you were not transparent, the children would out you. They would out you in 2 seconds flat. So I learned that lesson as a teacher, and I carry that lesson with me now as your chancellor. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be transparent. You're going to know where I stand. And more importantly, it's not necessarily because it's what I think, but what the data, what the research tells us. And we cannot have excellence, we cannot improve outcomes without tackling the inequities that exist in our system throughout the entire system. This means that we must invest in historically underserved communities with resources, time, attention, and direction. Let me give you an example of what this looks like. On the first day of school this year, I had the pleasure of visiting 2 advanced placement classes at a high school in Soundview in the Bronx. The students were fantastic. They were tackling the challenging topics of gun violence in our communities and schools on the very first day. In an AP US history class, the students were using a discussion protocol to talk about the Second Amendment, tying that into a much larger conversation about whether or not America has lived up to its ideals as a nation. In the AP psychology class, students were actively citing evidence from their summer reading to connect policing in their communities to questions of bias, perception, and how our brains think and react to those particular circumstances. As a part of the mayor's and my Equity and Excellence for All agenda, we're investing in AP courses like these at over 250 schools, about 80 of which had never before had an advanced placement class. Imagine that, students at 80 schools across the most progressive, diverse city in America who were getting the message that they weren't ready for rigorous college prep work, and we don't even have a class to get you there. The message that we don't think they can cut it in college courses needs to be eliminated. Those 80 schools are overwhelmingly in places like Soundview, the South Bronx, Central Brooklyn. And that's not an accident. We're not going to fix it by an accident either. So as we invest in and expand programs like AP for All and deepen our Equity and Excellence for All agenda, we need to be intentional. We need to unpack disparities and ask ourselves, where are we perpetuating those disparities? What actions can we take to address them? And it's not going to be comfortable, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But we have to address the inequity because 1.1 million students, by the way, 70% of whom are Black and Latino in the New York City public schools. We're going to apply an equity lens to everything we do. We're going to put programs in place and we're going to fund them. We have already expanded our anti-bias training, then expedited it, so it will reach every educator in 2 years. Remember the quote, "My teacher thought I was smarter than I was, so I was." We cannot have any classroom where an adult does not feel that every student that walks through that threshold is brilliant. We have prioritized 3K for All and universal literacy initiatives to reach the highest needs communities the fastest. And yes, when we talk about equity, we're going to acknowledge the elephant in the room, segregation. I've been doing that since day one. And I will remind you that integrating schools is about expanding opportunity, never about shrinking opportunity. It doesn't lower academic achievement for anybody. In fact, it improves it for all. Don't trust me? Look at the research. The research is clear. Integration is good for every child. We need to confront this problem head on as New Yorkers, not run from it. We need to confront it, and we've already started to integrate schools in some of our most segregated school districts. We are working to create more opportunities for our students in our specialized schools, and we are taking a hard look at some of our enrollment practices from 3K through 12th grade. Why do we have a system that we do? Are they in the best interests of our system? Are the systems and structures that were created 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago still effective and relevant today in today's New York City? Are they the best interests of our students, our cities? Our future economic viability depends on it. The work of integrating schools and adding more opportunity across all of our schools with AP courses, 3K programs, literacy coaches, they all go together. And we must have high quality schools in every neighborhood and learning experience that our students and families are excited about. My friends, on the opening day of school last week, I looked at all of the bright, young faces that I could see. And I saw how eager these students were to learn and to grow, to become responsible, accomplished adults. And I realized that educating the next generation of leaders is not the job of one chancellor or any one person. It is the job of millions. It is the job of us. When we get this right, when we intervene in the life of students like Marco, the young man from the Bronx that I met, who is brilliant, but who's living in temporary housing. In the old system, Marco could move from underserved school to underserved school. In the old system, he wouldn't be viewed as an elite or a special. In the old system, he might as well become a statistic, a dropout. But when we get this right, Marco's teachers from 3K all the way through graduation see him for the brilliance between his ears, not just the struggles his family overcome every day. You see, Marco, like 1.1 million other children across the city of New York, is more than just a label. Marco is a future doctor, perhaps a future lawyer, perhaps a future leader. If we're lucky, Marco is a future teacher. And I believe with every fiber of my being that this vision that we can make real for Marco and for every child can be made real in every one of our 5 boroughs. So my friends, we need you. We need all of you. We need your ideas, your time, your commitment, your interest. Together we can create a school system that reflects the best of our diversity, the best of our diverse, inspiring, and innovative city. If any city can truly achieve equity and excellence, it is the city that shines bright as an example for the world, the city with Our Lady Liberty, welcoming people from all over the world with a message that personally resonates for me. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. You see, equity and excellence isn't something new. It's the very fiber of our city, New York City, a city built by immigrants, a city of languages, a city of courage, a city of vision, a city of hope. My friends, that is our city, and this is our school system. Thank you very much for allowing me to share some thoughts with you this morning.
Chancellor has graciously agreed to take some questions, so I ask, please raise your hand if you have any questions.
I'm Nan Morrison. I'm the CEO of the Council for Economic Education. Thank you for your brilliant, heartfelt remarks. My parents are proud products of New York City public schools in Brooklyn. You mentioned not every child goes to college, and thank you. And I'm also wondering what your vision is for the future of CTE programs and other innovative programs such as the IBM P-Tech high schools.
Great, thank you for the question. So CTE programs, career technical education programs, are not the vocational ed programs of perhaps our past. They're very different. And some of the most rigorous hands-on learning happens in our CTE programs. I'll give you a perfect example, well, not a perfect example, but a great example of what I'm talking about. I visited the Aviation High School in Queens. And what I saw at that Aviation High School in Queens were young men and young women, equally dispersed, diving in to understand the physics and the mechanics of airplane flight. What is the physics on a propeller when you just twist it by certain degrees? And what does that do to the lift that impacts your takeoff? And they were explaining this to me in terms that were both technical but understandable. And then they were demonstrating how they adjust. And what I later found out was that just as rigorous as that science and technology education was to them, it was just as rigorous in their classrooms, in their English class, where they had to write technical papers describing what they were doing with their projects. Now, what was even more impressive is that when those students finish, they will graduate with a certificate that will allow them to walk into any airport in America and get hired on the spot. And if they stay an additional year, a 5th year in high school. But if they stay for an additional year and achieve an additional certification from the FAA, they will walk into one of those jobs close to 6 figures. That's the kind of learning that we need to be doing. And we have great examples in New York City, our P-Tech high schools, where students understand exactly, with a partnership with a business industry partner, they understand exactly what career they're going for. And now when they're in their sophomore year taking geometry or algebra trig, and they don't quite understand, why do I have to take it? Because if I want that kind of a job, I need to master that. You see, you create the vision and you connect them to it. So I am a huge supporter of career technical education, and in partnership with our business community, you're going to see many more of those programs that will be, I would say, nurtured and grown throughout all 5 boroughs in our city.
I'm Charlie Wang. I'm the Acting Dean of School of Education at Pace University, and today I'm with our president, Marvin Krislov here. And actually, School of Education at Pace University, we are currently training the largest group of your teaching fellows. So my question to you is that in your third priority, you said you're going to support your teacher and staff. So I'm wondering, since you talk about English language learners, I'm wondering whether you're going to increase any opportunities for local universities such as Pace University, we're across the street from you, to have that opportunity to work with you, to help you to develop some professional classes or courses for your New York teachers.
Yeah, so thank you for your partnership, but your president beat you to the punch. You see, I've got his business card right here, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about that very topic. So yes, thank you.
Good morning, Chancellor. My name is Travis Terry. I introduce myself in a lot of ways, but perhaps most importantly, I'm the parent of 3 very proud public school students. So thank you for everything that you're doing. And the statistics are actually amazing. My favorite one I just heard the other day is that 1 in every 300 Americans are New York City public school students. So the responsibility that you have is incredible, and we're so excited about what we're hearing. My question to you is about technology, and technology is evolving at such a rapid pace. I was wondering what initiatives the department is looking at to utilize new technology to help both in terms of classroom learning and family empowerment.
Thank you very, very much. So technology is rapidly promulgating itself throughout not only New York City, but across the education space in America. What I would say is that there is a false dichotomy that often gets talked about when we talk about technology, and that is that the newest, greatest application can take the place of a classroom experience. Let me just be really clear. I know it's not your question, but I want to make sure everybody understands. Technology will never replace a well-trained, caring teacher in a classroom. It's just not. However, I do think that technology, when used effectively, can transform what happens in the classroom in terms of student learning. So in the New York City Department of Education, this year we are increasing our broadband connectivity rate. We're not where we need to be or where we want to be, but we have a plan in place that over the next 2 years, we're going to have the fastest technology, fastest rate that we've ever seen. We also have still issues of wirelessness and how you connect devices, etc. That being said, and let me just editorialize for a second here. So in the other 4 communities that I've lived and worked, and I've actually done some leadership in this particular area, there's something very different about New York City as I've gone around and gotten to know New York City. Because in other locations where I've lived and worked, I've met elected officials who talk a lot about supporting schools. They believe in schools, they support schools, but rarely ever do they write a check from their accounts to support schools. It's very different in New York City. I can't tell you how many assembly members and senate members and borough presidents and council members I've met with, or I've visited schools, and the school will say, that computer cart there was because of this council member, or that whiteboard is because of the assembly member or my borough president. So kudos to our elected officials, because you walk the talk and you actually write the check with the talk. So thank you for supporting our schools. But I will say this. Let me give you an example of what I mean to your point about technology. So I had the opportunity to witness a 7th grade physics class. And the physics class was studying the difference between speed and velocity, 2 concepts in the physics curriculum. So what this teacher had done is she had been trained as a technology teacher. She was a physics teacher. She was a science teacher. So what she did is she had an iPad cart for her classroom. She had a great way. The kids had developed a rubric, so when they present, they give each other feedback. So for this particular lesson, where in the past, the teacher would have said, take out your physics textbook, open up chapter 3, read the chapter on speed and velocity, answer the questions at the end of the chapter, I'm done. What this teacher did is said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to do an interactive project. So she grouped the students in groups of 2 or 3, and then they went out, and this was their charge. Make a 2 to 3 minute video demonstrating the difference between speed and velocity. So I came on the day where they were going to share their videos. So the kids walk in, the screen in the classroom goes up, they have a software program where they can share. The students get their laptops, they log in, all very businesslike. The teacher says, okay, who goes first? Draws a stick, okay, team whatever goes first. The kids come in, they log in, their video comes up, and sure enough, it was amazing. Kids were sliding down the hallway, and somebody had a tape measure, and then they had the formula that was superimposed on the video. Somebody was dropping a watermelon off a roof to demonstrate. I mean, anything that you could think of in terms of creativity, these kids had captured in a video. And as they're showing their video, their peers in the classroom are typing feedback that's appearing on the screen. Wasn't really clear, don't understand that, you didn't explain all this feedback. They get done, everybody claps. She captures the feedback, emails it to the student. Next student group comes up, starts ready to present. Those students now have 48 hours to make any revisions based on their peer feedback and submit for a final grade. Now, no one would ever say that the technology replaced the effective pedagogy happening in that classroom. But the teacher using technology to enhance the pedagogy, to connect with students in a very, very real way, is what our goal is in terms of how we use technology. We want technology to be of use to our students and to our teachers. The other thing that I will say is that as we do this, it becomes increasingly important that we pay attention to how students use technology. And part of our North Star that we want every one of our students to have as they graduate from our city schools, it's going to be important that they have a digital identity as well, that they know how to make informed decisions based on the information they're getting off of the internet, that they can apply a lens of truth to what they're seeing and reading. And it's going to be important that the 3rd grader, 4th grader, 5th grader that's using technology understands that when they become a 32nd grader, and they're 24 years old and they're applying for that job, something that they've posted on their social media site may in fact inhibit further opportunities. That's all important, but it's a really important question. I want to thank you for making it. Thank you very much.